The rain soaks through his worn jacket as another car speeds past without slowing down. "These people act like I'm invisible," mutters 59-year-old Staff Sergeant William Hayes as he limps along the highway shoulder with his prosthetic leg aching in the cold. He's been walking for 3 hours trying to reach the VA hospital for his cancer treatment. His cardboard sign reading "Disabled Vet, Need Ride to Hospital," ignored by hundreds of passing drivers. Then a military convoy truck pulls over, and a young soldier jumps out with a crisp salute that changes everything. What this young soldier does next will restore your faith in military brotherhood and show you that true honor never dies. If stories of soldiers helping soldiers touch your heart, hit that subscribe button and share in the comments about a time someone went out of their way to help you. This moment of respect will leave you speechless. William had started his journey at dawn, leaving his small apartment with enough time to walk the 12 miles to the VA medical center for his chemotherapy appointment. His old pickup truck had died 3 weeks ago, and he couldn't afford the repairs on his disability income. The bus route didn't run near his neighborhood, and taxi fare would cost more than his weekly food budget. The prosthetic leg made walking long distances painful, but William had endured worse during his 2 tours in Iraq. Each step sent shooting pain through his residual limb, especially where the metal components rubbed against skin that never quite healed properly after the IED blast that changed his life forever. But missing his cancer treatment wasn't an option, so he pushed forward through the discomfort. For the first hour, William felt optimistic about finding a ride. He positioned himself at major intersections with good visibility, holding his handmade sign where drivers could easily read his request for help. Surely someone would take pity on a disabled veteran trying to reach medical treatment, especially on a cold, rainy morning when walking was clearly difficult. Car after car passed without slowing. SUVs filled with families, luxury sedans with single drivers, pickup trucks that had plenty of room for a passenger. William watched hundreds of people make eye contact with him through their windshields, read his sign, then accelerate past without any acknowledgement of his presence or need. A few drivers rolled down their windows as they passed, but only to shout cruel comments about getting a job or stop being lazy. One man in a BMW yelled that real veterans don't beg on street corners. They take care of themselves with pride and dignity. A woman in a minivan told her children to look at what happens to people who make bad choices in life. By the second hour, William's optimism had turned to desperation. His prosthetic leg was causing severe pain. His clothes were soaked through from the steady rain, and his chemotherapy appointment was only 2 hours away. He tried calling the VA hospital to explain his situation, but the automated system couldn't connect him to anyone who could help with transportation. William attempted to hitchhike at a truck stop, thinking professional drivers might be more sympathetic to someone in need. Several truckers stopped to tell him that company insurance policies prohibited picking up hitchhikers, even disabled veterans heading to medical appointments. They apologized but explained that losing their jobs wouldn't help anyone in the long run. A group of teenagers in a convertible threw empty soda cans at William as they drove past, laughing at his stumbling reaction when he tried to dodge the projectiles. An elderly couple in a church van slowed down long enough to take a photo of him, apparently finding his situation amusing rather than concerning or worthy of assistance. William sat down on his cardboard sign to rest his aching leg and reassess his situation. The rain had intensified, making visibility poor and walking even more treacherous. His phone showed that he was still 8 miles from the hospital, and his appointment time was approaching rapidly. Missing this treatment would set back his cancer therapy by weeks. A police officer pulled over and approached William, but not to offer help. The officer told him that panhandling was illegal in this jurisdiction, and he needed to move along or face arrest for violating municipal ordinances. William explained that he wasn't asking for money, just transportation to medical treatment. But the officer insisted that holding any sign on the roadside constituted prohibited solicitation. William struggled to his feet and continued walking, knowing that standing still would only invite more harassment from law enforcement. Each step became more difficult as exhaustion and pain accumulated in his body. His prosthetic leg had developed a hot spot that felt like it was burning through his skin. But stopping to adjust, it would cost precious time. More cars passed with drivers who stared but didn't stop. William began to understand that his appearance worked against him. His worn clothing, weathered face, and obvious struggle with walking made him look like the homeless panhandlers that most people had been conditioned to ignore or avoid. His veteran status meant nothing to people who couldn't see past stereotypes. About his veteran status meant nothing to people who couldn't see past stereotypes. Businessman in a Mercedes sedan actually pulled over and rolled down his window, giving William hope that finally someone would offer assistance. Instead, the man handed him $5 and told him to get some food instead of whatever drugs he was probably buying. When William tried to explain about his medical appointment, the man drove away while calling him an ungrateful junkie. William's cancer treatment required precise timing to be effective. Missing appointments disrupted the carefully planned sequence of chemotherapy that his oncologist had designed to give him the best chance of survival. He had already lost so much to war and illness, and now he was losing hope that strangers would show basic human compassion to a fellow American in need. The rain grew heavier as William approached a military installation visible in the distance. He hoped that being near a base might increase his chances of finding someone who understood military service and veteran struggles. His sign was disintegrating in the rain, but he held the soggy cardboard anyway, knowing it was his only way to communicate his situation to passing drivers. Then he heard the rumble of heavy military vehicles approaching from behind. A convoy of army trucks was heading in his direction, probably returning to base from training exercises. William straightened his posture instinctively. Even in his civilian clothes and desperate circumstances, military bearing remained part of his identity. The lead truck slowed down and pulled over 50 yards ahead of William. A young soldier jumped out of the passenger side and ran back through the rain, his combat boots splashing through puddles as he approached the struggling veteran. Without hesitation, the soldier snapped to attention and delivered a perfect salute. To William, Staff Sergeant Maria Rodriguez had spotted William from half a mile away and immediately recognized the posture and gait of a fellow veteran. She told her driver to pull over because no soldier, active or retired, should be walking alone in the rain when their military family could provide assistance. Her convoy commander agreed without question. Rodriguez helps William climb into the can-do warm, dry cab of the military truck while explaining that they're heading back to Fort Campbell, but can easily detour to drop him at the VA hospital. She introduces him to her squad, 6 young soldiers who immediately treat William with the respect and courtesy that his rank and service deserve. As they drive toward the hospital, William tells Rodriguez about his struggles since leaving the military. The difficulty finding work with his disabilities, the inadequate disability payments, the broken-down truck he can't afford to repair, and the daily challenges of navigating a civilian world that seems indifferent to veteran needs. Rodriguez listens with understanding and shares her own concerns about eventually transitioning to civilian life. She asks William about his military service, and he describes his experiences in Iraq, the eye blast that cost him his leg, and the long recovery process that led to his medical retirement. She realizes she's sitting next to a genuine war hero who deserves better treatment from his country. The young soldiers in the truck are amazed to meet a combat veteran from the Iraq War. They ask William about his experiences and listen respectfully as he describes the realities of fighting in quote-unquote urban environments against insurgent forces. His stories help them understand what they might face in their own future deployments. William arrives at the VA hospital with 20 minutes to spare before his chemotherapy appointment. thanks to the soldiers who didn't hesitate to help a brother in arms in need. Rodriguez walks into the oncology department to make sure he finds the right location, treating him like family rather than a stranger they picked up on the highway. Before leaving, Rodriguez gives William her contact information and promises to check on him regularly. She explains that her unit has a tradition of supporting local veterans, and they want to help him with transportation and other needs. She also mentions a program that provides reliable used vehicles to disabled veterans at no cost. William's oncologist is impressed that he made it to his appointment despite the transportation challenges, not knowing about the military convoy that rescued him from the highway. The treatment goes smoothly, and William feels hopeful for the first time in weeks, knowing that his military family hasn't abandoned him. 2 weeks later, Rodriguez returns with a surprise. Her unit has collected money to repair William's pickup truck, and a local mechanic who is also a veteran has donated his labor to get the vehicle running again. They present William with keys to his restored truck and a tank of gas to get him started. Rodriguez explains that taking care of veterans isn't charity, but obligation, a sacred duty that connects all members of the military family across generations and branches of service. She tells William that his sacrifice in Iraq paved the way for her generation of soldiers, and helping him is a small way to repay that debt. 6 months later, William's cancer is in remission and his truck runs perfectly, thanks to the soldiers who refuse to let him struggle alone. He volunteers at the VA hospital, helping other veterans navigate the complex system of benefits and services. Rodriguez visits him regularly, maintaining the friendship that began with a salute on a rainy highway. William also starts a program, pairing young active duty soldiers with local veterans, creating mentorship relationships that benefit both groups. The program grows rapidly as more soldiers understand the importance of supporting their veteran brothers and sisters who face challenges after leaving military service. Rodriguez gets promoted to Sergeant First Class and credits her relationship with William for teaching her true leadership. She says that learning to recognize and respond to the needs of fellow veterans made her a better soldier and a better person. Their friendship exemplifies the military values of loyalty, duty, and selfless service, what this young soldier does. Next, we'll restore your faith in military brotherhood and show you that true honor never dies. If stories of soldiers helping soldiers touch your heart, hit that subscribe button and share in the comments about a time someone went out of their way to help you. This moment of respect will leave you speechless.